Hello YouTube, and Smart Money welcomes you to 3 times a charm Baccarat strategy system. We'll be looking for and searching for a player-player-banker sequence. And we have one right there, and we have a player-player-banker sequence followed by banker-banker-player, banker-banker-player. So we have a banker loss and a banker win on the second hand. Now our next sequence of player-player-banker is right there, player, player, banker. That's our sequence, followed by a banker. That's a banker loss, don't count the tie, and we have a banker win on the second hand. Let's look for our next sequence, player, player, banker, with a banker win on the following hand. Our next player, player, banker sequence is right below, player, player, banker, followed by a banker loss and a banker win on the second hand. Our next sequence of player, player, banker is right there, player, player, banker, with a banker, banker, a player win on the third hand. Our next player, player, banker sequence is right there, player, player, banker, and we won on the following hand, which is a banker win. Our next player, player, banker sequence is right there, player, player, banker. We have a banker loss and a banker win on the second hand. Our next sequence is player, player, banker, right there, player, player, banker, with a banker loss and then a banker win on the second hand. I believe we won $800 in this particular shoe, and we did. Let's pull up another shoe. Again, looking for a player, player, banker sequence. Right off the bat, we have it. Player, player, banker, followed by a banker win on the next hand. Our next player, player, banker is right there, player, player, banker, with a banker loss and a banker win on the second hand. Right below, we have a player, player, banker sequence with a banker win on the following hand. Our next sequence is right next door, player, player, that is a tie, don't count it, banker win on the next hand. Player, player, banker, with a banker win on the following hand. Our next player, player, banker sequence is right there, player, player, banker, with a banker loss and a banker win on the second hand. Let's seek out our next player, player, banker sequence, which is right there, player, don't count the tie, player, banker, that's a sequence, followed by a banker win next hand. And I think we won 700 that shoe. Excellent. We want to try and win over $2,000. Let's play one more shoe, and we have a player, player, banker sequence there, followed by a banker win. That's great. Looking for our next player, player, banker opportunity, which is on the next row, player, player, banker. Do not count the two ties, and we won on the banker bet first hand out right there. Let's seek out another player, player, banker sequence, and we have it right there, player, player, banker, don't count the tie, and the banker is a win on the following hand. Our next player, player, banker is next door, player, player, banker, with a player loss and a banker win on the second hand. Our next player, player, banker is right there, player, player, banker, with a banker loss, a banker loss, a player loss, a banker loss, and a banker win. We got it on the 5th martingale. Our next is player, player, banker, right there, with a player loss and a banker win. Looks like we've won $600. Okay, let's pull up now our Wizard of Odds, and we're going to show you a blank slate. And again, we're looking for a player, player, banker sequence to start our banker, banker, player, banker, banker, player. There's a player win, there's a tie, there is another player win, and we have another tie, and we have another player win. Looking for a banker win here. We have another player win, another player win, another player win, and we have a banker win. So now we can start betting $100 on banker. And let's make our bet. And we have $100 on banker, and we won that bet. Great, so we're up $100 on a non-commissioned table. And let's continue to deal the cards. Again, player, player, banker, player, player, banker. We have a banker win. We have a player win. Another player win, looking for a banker win here, and we have it. So we have our banker right there. Player, player, banker. Let's bet another $100 on banker. And we lost that bet. It's now $200 on banker. And we lost that bet. It's now $400 on the player bet. And we lost that. It's now $800 on the banker bet. That's the 4th level martingale. And looks like we won that. So we're up now $200 on a non-commissioned table. And let's continue to seek out our player, player, banker sequence. We have a player win, another player win, and we have a banker win. So right away we have player, player, banker. Let's bet another $100 on banker. Let's deal. And looks like we won that bet next hand. So we're up $300. We're looking to win $500 and leave the table. So we are going to now look for a player, player, banker sequence. And we have 2 players. And looks like we have 3 players looking for a banker win, another player win, still looking for a banker win, so we can start betting. And we have a tie, and we have another player win, another player win, yet another player win, and we have a banker win, which is a dragon. So we have a player, player, banker. We can now bet $100 on banker. That's $100 on banker. And we won that bet next hand. Okay, we're up $400 on a non-commissioned table. Let's look for one more player, player, banker sequence. One more. That's all we need. We have a banker win, another banker win, player win, banker win, player win, banker win, player win. We have a player win looking for a banker now, and we have it. Okay, we have our player, player, banker sequence. Now, our final $100 will be bet on banker. And it looks like we won that right away. So we do have our $500 goal that we hit with a very simple player, player, banker sequence followed by banker, banker, player, banker, banker, player. You could do a hit and run on this if you like, but I would recommend maybe 2. And I want to thank you for watching this video, and please subscribe and hit the thumbs up button if you have received a value from our efforts. We really would appreciate that. Here is our take regarding online gambling sites for playing Baccarat. First of all, do not listen to Christopher Mitchell, now professing online gambling because he's running out of options. Actually, he was taken off of YouTube for 1 week, and you'll see it in his next video. But here are the negatives. Excessive fees for uploading funds. Number 2, waiting period. There's a waiting period before you can gain access to your own cash. Number 3, payback in Bitcoin can cause additional fees. Number 4, they advertise $1 to $500, but in reality, when you try and place a $1 bet, they tell you that the minimum bet is $5. Number 5, they track your winnings, and if you win too often, you cannot re-enter the room. They will redirect you to the lobby to play a different game. Number 6, and the most important thing, is to know about how they review your betting strategy. And they will send you a message saying that your bet is under review, not allowing 5 or 6 level martingale. Unbelievable. This is now our Smart Money scorecard. It's our $10,000 buy-in live at the bike. This was last night. That's our scorecard, and there's our buy-in chips and our card. And this is the 3 times a charm system that we ran last night, and you can just watch the card and see exactly how we did it. Very similar to the simulations we showed you. We won an easy $500 in about 20 minutes or so. It was really very easy to do.